There are very few times that we actually get to witness the birth of a superstar player. A star is born, is what people say when this happens. If you are watching the Clippers Mavericks game Sunday afternoon, then you witnessed the birth of a superstar in the NBA. Luka Doncic was already a star player coming into the playoffs. But there is a difference between a star player and a superstar player. Anthony Davis is a star. LeBron James is a superstar. Paul George is a star. Kawhi Leonard is a superstar. After what he has done so far in his first playoff appearance, and after that amazing three-point game-winning shot Sunday afternoon, Luka Doncic is the newest superstar in the NBA. Matter of fact, he is well on his way to taking over the NBA. It wouldn't surprise me if the endorsement deals started to come in. You start to see his face everywhere, the league beginning to use him as one of the faces of the NBA. That is what happens when you have big-time playoff performances. That's what happens when you make big shots. We all know that the regular season in the NBA just doesn't matter. The stats, the numbers, the moments that happen during the regular season, no one cares. Superstar players are made during the playoffs. That's why I don't consider a guy like Anthony Davis to be a superstar. Well, that's one of the reasons. There are more, but you get what I'm saying. What Luka Doncic is doing in this series against the Clippers is special. There's only a handful of players in the NBA that are capable of doing this. He is damn near averaging a triple-double through the first 4 games of this series. The first 4 playoff games of his career. 31.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, 9.75 assists. Hell, just give him the triple-double average. Call it 10 assists. The end of overtime on Sunday afternoon, the Mavs were down by 1 with seconds to go. Everyone knew that the ball was going to Luka Doncic. Everyone watching at home, everyone on the court, we all knew that he was going to be taking the final shot. And to be honest, I think the Clippers were okay with this, especially that he ended up taking a 3-point shot as his final shot. Luka isn't what you would call a great 3-point shooter. He shoots 32% from 3 for his career. He shot 17% from 3 in Game 3. Not only that, he is 0 for 10 on game-winning shots this season. So he's got a history of, I don't want to say folding under the pressure because that's not the case, but he doesn't have a long history of draining game-winning shots. This isn't the equivalent of a guy like Ray Allen or Paul Pierce taking a last-second shot. So Luka Doncic taking the 3 to end the game wasn't the end of the world for the Clippers. But him making it is going to end up propelling his career to new heights. Not only that, his complete dominance in this series is going to propel his career. He is proving to be unguardable. The Clippers are one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. They don't have an answer for Luka Doncic. Now, I think they miss Patrick Beverley, especially on the defensive end, but even if he was healthy, he might be able to get Luka off his game a little bit, but I still think he would be putting up big numbers. Doc Rivers was once again upset after watching his team lose another game that they should have won. The Clippers had a 21-point lead in the first half. And it looked to me like they just completely let off the gas. We talked about this on Friday. The Clippers have developed some bad habits during this regular season that are starting to cost them in the playoffs. Doc Rivers called his team emotionally weak after the game. He was pissed off that they didn't respond. His exact words were that they caved in when the Mavericks went on that huge run that brought them back from 21 points down to being in the lead. I agree with Doc Rivers. I don't know if emotionally weak is the term that I would use to describe the Clippers. To me, it's more of an arrogance. This attitude that, oh, we're up 21 points. We're imposing our will on Dallas. This game is over. The problem is, Luka Doncic and the Mavericks aren't rolling over when they're down 21 points. And they won this game without Kristaps Porzingis. This was the Clippers' opportunity to end this series, to put the nail in the coffin, go up 3-1. And they had the game won. If they wouldn't have let off the gas. Actually, now that I think about it, that's a bad way to describe it. The Clippers didn't let off the gas. They acted like the game was over. Up 21 points with 7:39 to go in the second quarter. The Mavericks end up going on a 51-21 run. They outscored Los Angeles by 30 points in 16 minutes of game time. I'm not going to lie. I am a little bit concerned right now with the Clippers. I'm not ready to back off my prediction of them winning the championship this season, but there is definitely a cause for concern here. And by the way, where is Paul George? Has anyone seen Paul George? He has completely disappeared since game 1. The last 3 games, he's averaging 11 points on 21% shooting. He is shooting 16% from the 3-point line. There are times when I'm watching the Clippers where I forget that Paul George is even in the game. That is how ineffective he is. We need to go ahead and file a missing persons report on Paul George. Hang the signs all over Los Angeles and Orlando. Missing Paul George. If you see him, please contact Doc Rivers. I mean, this guy has been a magician in this series. He is performing the best disappearing act that I have ever seen. This dude actually had the nerve a while back to call himself Playoff P, Playoff Paul, because, he delivers in the postseason. For starters, if you have got to give yourself your own nickname, then we have a problem. And secondly, Playoff P has turned into Playoff G, as in gone. Nobody knows where he is. This is why I don't consider Paul George to be a superstar player. He is a great Robin. He is a great Scottie Pippen. But he is not the Michael Jordan on the team. He is not the Kawhi Leonard, the LeBron James. Guys like that, superstar players, they don't disappear in the playoffs. But even with Paul George struggling, I am not jumping off the Clippers bandwagon. I'm not going to be like everyone else and overreact to this loss in Game 4. This same exact thing happened after Game 2. I even made a video about it on Friday. And in that video, I made the point that Kawhi Leonard always bounces back after a humbling loss. And I expect that the Clippers will in Game 5 and eventually win this series. Eventually, Paul George is going to return to form. He's going to be Paul George. It's not like the Mavericks are causing him problems defensively. He's just missing wide open shots. Once he gets out of this shooting slump, the Clippers are going to be just fine. I really think this series against Dallas has been a wake-up call for the Clippers. They're not going to be able to walk through the playoffs like they thought they were going to be able to until they met the Lakers. And before I get out of here, let me address one more thing. Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell made headlines over the weekend because in the heat of the moment during Game 3, he said some things to Luka Doncic that could be construed as racially insensitive. The problem that a lot of people have with this is there weren't any consequences. Now, before I go any further, let me just say this. I don't think Montrezl Harrell meant anything by what he said to Luka Doncic. He was just talking trash. I don't think he's a racist or had any ill intent with his comments. He's already apologized to Luka Doncic. They hugged it out before Game 4. Case, in my opinion, should be closed. However, we don't live in a world where things like this can happen and just go away like they should. I wish we did, but there are too many social justice warriors out there who coincidentally happen to be completely silent on this issue. Go figure. But there are too many many SJWs out there, too many racial police for things like this to go unnoticed. And this is not going unnoticed by the public. If the roles were reversed and Luka Doncic had said the same thing to Montrezl Harrell, Adam Silver would suspend him. At minimum, he would be heavily fined. But I think with things like they are right now, and Adam Silver having absolutely no backbone, that he would suspend Luka Doncic. But when Montrezl Harrell does it, it's crickets. It's silence from Adam Silver in the NBA front office. No punishment, no fine, no suspension, nothing. It is the definition of hypocrisy, of a double standard. Look, I don't care either way. I don't think it was a big deal. But with the NBA doing all of this publicity on racial injustice going on in America, it's kind of a big deal that with something like this going on, that they have been completely silent about it. And they can't afford to let this slide right now. They are already bleeding viewers because they have pretty much politicized the game of basketball and turned off half of their audience. This was an opportunity for Adam Silver and the NBA to kind of redeem themselves just a little bit to the casual viewer. And once again, they have screwed up. All right, that's all for today. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for me. Click the notification bell to receive all updates from the channel. Leave me a comment in the section below. Is Luka Doncic on his way to becoming the biggest superstar in the NBA? And do you think that the Mavs can pull off the upset in this series, or are the Clippers eventually going to go ahead and win it? Let me know your thoughts. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. If you have any questions, a topic you'd like me to discuss, you can email me at BTLKC84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys next time.